Hello and welcome back to another painting video. Today we're going to be painting a Freeguild Steelhelm in our style for our living city of the white tree. So as normal, we're going to get started here on the face just to get that started. So we're going to start with a coat of not fur brown, fur brown. Coat of fur brown from Army Painter. Put a nice little dab down. Get our paintbrush a little bit wet so we can thin this paint out. Okay, that'll be our first little coat of that. While that dries, we'll move on to our next step, which is going to be our blue-gray. So we use dark blue-gray, but I did buy some other paints to try to check out. So I got this iceberg gray color. It might be a little too blue. I also got Elfic blue, which also, again, might be too blue. But then this one says it's a Templar white, which might be a little too gray. So kind of like in a weird, like to find a mix that's already the color that we want and to not have to mix it every time is the goal here, because we're never going to be able to get it perfect or consistent. So let's just get this guy here. So this is already really thin, which is a good thing. So we're starting from the bottom and working our way up. I don't know if I shook this good enough or not. It does sound really watery when I'm shaking it as compared to these other paints. It's not a air color. It's just very thin. Interesting. So this is gonna have to be a couple coats kind of situation. And it's okay that we're going over the some of these little areas. It's fine because we have a darker color going on over the top of it. So just get that. And then this is like a tunic as well. So I think we're gonna have to do a couple spots here. I'm gonna get between the pieces here. I think this part is also one. It's like a cloth that goes over the armor, a bib. And these are our fodder troops anyway, so it's not like, it's not like they have to be perfect in every single way, but we do want them to look nice and presentable. But it is kind of weird having like the same color on top of the same color. So I might have to switch it up here. Let me look at the little reference here really quick on the box art. and see what they did. Yeah, they are. Okay. I'll just line it with like a white or something to separate it better. But it's definitely a 2-coat job. And we'll make sure we get the plaque on the shield as well. I'm not sure I like the consistency of this paint here. It's really kind of weird. And hopefully by then that means that this is dry, so we can kind of go in here and pick this out while we're here. I think this is the good color though. I think this color is the one we're gonna go with, the Elfic blue, no, not Elfic, Iceberg gray. This is kind of exactly the color that I was looking for when I was trying to mix this up. It looks a lot different on the palette, but that's also on like white paper, so maybe that's tinting it a bit. Okay, let's let that kind of sit and marinate for a bit while we go on to our leather brown for our shoes and belts and all that kind of stuff. This will be a good way to kind of base coat these. I might have gone with a different color last time, but still, since I'm still kind of new to painting these guys, I'm like, I don't really have it down. So it looks like they have like a spat or gator over the shoe part. So we'll try to do different colors there. So we'll do the main spat, this leather brown color, and most of the leather this color. Get the little strap there that goes on the shoe. Get our belt. And then the glove. Hi, puppy. Okay, I think we get the handle of this hammer with the brown. It's fine because we're gonna do a darker brown for the hammer for sure. We'll get in here, get this hand, the parts that we can kind of see, as well as the straps on here. Then there's also straps. Repoint this brush a little bit. Get these side straps here for the knee pads. have elbow pads, so that's good. Maybe like a little tie here for the scabbard that he's got going on. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we'll go back into that flesh color for the face. That fur brown. Just gonna touch on those areas and just kind of solidify it a little bit more. Now we can go back into our blue-gray color, our iceberg gray, and then do any coats that may be required. Definitely on these pieces where it was needed. Especially like here in the back, you can see like the paint didn't quite dry, so it was kind of tearing right there. So just go over that and any spots there that we might have messed up when we were doing our other colors. Is the shield good? No, the shield needs more. Okay, now we're gonna go into our off brown, which is this whole red color. Okay, and then we'll get the tops of the shoes, the undershoes. Get those guys. Get the handle of this big old mace that he's got going on. I like the kind of relaxed pose that this guy's got going on, like he's walking into battle like he doesn't care. It's like, they took my family. I'm going to end your lives. Okay, and then we get our shield here. You don't have to get it all the way coated either. Some little bits here and there is fine, because then that makes it look more kind of worn. Maybe this shield belonged to the captain before him. And we'll get the rest of this guy. Don't really know what's in it. I don't really know what, if it's like a little dagger or like a trumpet or something. It's not really reading well. Okay, let's look at our leader here to kind of get an idea of what colors we're using so we can remember. I haven't sprayed him with a matte varnish yet, that's why he's still really shiny, but he will be sprayed with a matte varnish. So let's get into the face with this barbarian flesh color. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna thin that out and do a light, as light as we can, coat over the face a couple times to kind of like wetly blend it into the colors here. So just like that for our first coat. We'll go back into the blue here for like little spots that we missed here and there. Now we'll go into our gunmetal for our metallic, our main armor color. This goes over pretty much all of the hard metal surfaces. So chainmail, plate mail, buckles, anything like that. Knee pads, in this guy's case. I'm playing around with the idea of going with like a oil wash for these guys, but using like a like the, not rust effects, it's called streaking grime. I mean, I think it's still like just oil based anyway, because I just try to avoid those like harsh chemicals, but who knows, maybe I'll do it and just kind of darken these guys up a little bit more and just kind of gritty them down. Kind of go for that grim dark aesthetic. I'm trying to achieve it right now with just like a non-oil wash, but I don't really think it's coming through. And that's probably just because of how, you know, the acrylic washes work versus like a oil-based paint. They do dry a lot faster though. And we're about speed. I am speed. So let's finish up these armor bits. And we'll get the shield armor bits as well. We skip the skull because the skull is gold, but everything else around the skull can be our gunmetal. We gotta make sure we get the other side here. Just what you can see. You don't need to go all in there. Then we get the hammer here. Make sure that we get every bit of it. And we don't forget the thingy that he's got going on in his pocket over there. And then the Steelhelm. I think this helmet style is kind of lame. I prefer more like actual like knight helmets on my dudes, but It is what it is for these guys. It's how they chose to do them. Can't have everything. They could just replace their heads, but it's more work than I'm willing to do right now. Okay, let's go back into that barbarian, that thinned barbarian flesh here. And especially like over any of those spots that we might have hit with the thingy there. Get our little buckle here. I think now we can do like a little monster brown. Actually, I don't like that paint as much. Let's just go with this one, this desert yellow, over the top of some of the metallics that we got. Not metallics though. The leathers. We're gonna like super thin it down and kind of wet blend it over the top of some of the areas just to give some variety in our colors here. And what's thinned down like this, when it dries, it gives kind of a, like an idea of the color over it. I don't know, I just like it. Just get some of that on there. We can even wet our brush and get some more thin down of that leather brown that we used, and just kind of help the two colors together here if we put a little too much on an area. Now for the gold, did I use the gold wash? I think I did. I'm gonna use this Hopalite gold on him. So I think that's what I used on the other one. Not 100% sure, but I'm looking at my palette. I do see the gold down. Okay, so we're gonna go to Brassy Brass because I think that might have been what I did because I can see it on the palette. That's the good thing about using the palette. You can see what colors you kind of use. And I know that this looks different, so I know enough to know that I probably just use this instead of that Hopalite Gold quick shade color. So let's get this. I butcher this brush, and technically should go down to here, this little bracket that it's got on here. We're gonna get the back end of the hammer here. And get the skull, the back of it too here. And then it looks like he's got kind of a symbol on the helmet here. So let's fill that in as well. Then we're gonna take our Reichland Flesh shade and just kind of put it into the face area. Kind of thin, we don't need like a ton of it, but just to kind of pop out some of those features a little bit more of our boy here, of our captain. And then we're going to take a matte white, and that's what we're going to use to line the cloth bits here. Oh no, not matte white. We don't use matte white. We use ghost gray, I believe. to kind of keep it thin. Let's see. So let's take this ghost gray. And then we're gonna, it's like an edge highlight, but not. I have to clean that up for sure. We're just getting the line on this tunic thing that he's got going on. Okay. And while we're here, we'll clean up the under bits here. We forgot to get this. And we can even try our hand at our tree here. We'll get better at this as we keep trying, but there's our tree. Holding our breath that whole time. And then we can get down to some of the grime. So let's get our Known Oil wash here. And we put this all over the armor, pretty much everything. So we just wanna get it on our brush here. Try to start low because we haven't really painted here in a while. So let's just get all of that on there. Clean off our brush if it's looking a little too much. We're avoiding the brown areas because those are going to get a brown wash on them. So let's get the whole underside here. And then we'll start moving up. Get this. Get the bronze metallics as well. Get the helmet. and fix any areas that it may be a little too much, like in the helmet up there, kind of in here, it's a little too much. Just pulling it away. Then we'll get our Agrax Earthshade wash for the leathers and woods. I think this is the one that ends up getting that glossy kind of color over the model at the end, that the prime's gonna, the the varnish is gonna have to fix. So let's get the shield here, kind of avoiding the area with the thing on it, with the tree on it. And we're just pulling it off where we need to. Okay, now for the face, we're just gonna get some of this pale flesh color to go in there to do some last minute tweaking. Just like on the nose and the cheeks. Any of those like high spots. So I want the nose, like the bridge of the nose here, the chin, and like the cheeks. Then we'll take our white to get the pupils as best we can in here, if we can see them. Like that. Then we take a black, or in this case I'm just going to use the same iceberg gray that we've been using to dot the eye. There we go. And I think we're gonna go through with a silver paint here, just a shining silver, to get any of those little extra bits, just to kind of outline some of the shininess of the armor. It's kind of like an edge highlight slash, I don't know what you want to call it. We're just gonna go like here, on the top of the shoulder pad. Same thing here on the top of this shoulder pad. Probably like the front of the helmet here, as well as the top. You can kind of scribble some here and there, especially on like the hammer because it's been hitting stuff. So you can have a little bit more shiny of an edge. And we can get this right here, we can get some of this. We just want to get some separation in there to make it kind of break up there. kind of give him a little bit of weather in there. Cool. And that is how we paint our Freeguild Steelhelm. As usual, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.